Alrighty, we are back and coming at you live with the Kite Foil League, event number 1, day 1, race number 3 at this Kite Foil League primary stopover in Sherman Island in Northern California. We are coming at you live on the water, bringing to you broadcasted awesome images of these kite foilers here as they line up for their pre-start in this race number 3. You can see their kites dip there, and they're just off and taking off the line now. Now, who looked to win the start seems to be Will Sear on that gray and green kite up at the windward end. Daniela Miraz getting off in the middle of the line. She may have been over, though. It's going to be tight to tell there. So some of the first guys to tack out, we have a yellow kite tacking out. That seems to be Marcus Edegren coming out here left on this first upwind leg. Sorry, coming out here on the right-hand side of the course. You can see a bit of water discoloration there on the bottom side of the screen. That might indicate that the tide has actually switched as we come across the fleet in the middle of the course here on this first upwind. Now coming off the line, leading by what looks to be a large margin, is Evan. Evan on the blue kite here, cruising upwind, taking a lead. He's got that American flag board if you can't see, but just below him, leading out towards the right, is this orange kite, Johnny Heineken. Now, he's been in the mix, but he's taken some time off, so he might be struggling here with some mistakes. We did see some mistakes from him in some of the other races. We saw a couple biffs, and so we'll see if he can work his high mode here, and it looks like he's already starting to shave off some of these guys. Now, Evan Heffernan tacking across there with that blue kite, going back to the left-hand side. We saw him do that already in some of the earlier races, actually leaving covering some of the boats because that left-hand side seems to be so far favored. But Will Sear tacking over underneath him just before, trying to defend that left-hand side. He's the one on the gray and green fly surfer kite over there, and coming just out the bottom of your screen now is actually Marcus Edegren cruising across here into what could be a first place. Now, he's coming across, and we'll see as he crosses this tide line, it's going to be tight for this first place battle coming into Mark 1 between Marcus Edegren on the yellow kite and Evan Heffernan on the blue kite. Far side of the course, though, again, is Johnny Heineken hot on their heels and Will Sear in that gray and green kite. Now we see Marcus coming across, and he actually slows up a little there, having a bit of an issue. Maybe he just baited Evan Heffernan on that blue kite into a cross here, but it looks like he threw his arm up, and he actually is protesting that. It's surprisingly easy to hear the comms, despite the high speeds these guys are traveling at. So we see Evan Heffernan going into a spin there. Now that's obviously something he did not foresee coming. Whether Marcus was able to bait him into that or not, we'll have to talk to him after the race. But Evan Heffernan not happy with that cross and subsequent protest there, had to do his penalty kill, and now he's back into about 4th place. Marcus Edegren cruising upwind here, handily leading this race number 3 as we approach Mark 1. Now, Johnny Heineken tacking over with that orange kite behind him. Marcus leading in this race 1, jibing out shortly after this windward mark, trying to get back into pressure here with Johnny Heineken powering downwind just on your screen as we lead him out there. So Marcus Edegren jibe out, first to go. Johnny Heineken trying to work his way downwind here. We're following him in 2nd place. We'll see which side is going to wind up paying. You can see how much he's canting the board, trying to find power, so that might be an indicator that he's actually in a lull right now. Now he's going to go for something here off this shoreline, and we'll see if he gets it and is able to come back ahead of Marcus Edegren, who made that decision, that fateful decision, to jibe and split away out of the windward. So beautiful that jibe there from Johnny, despite the fact that he is still shaking off some rust. He's had a couple of issues in some jibes, and coming across there on the far side of your screen at the top, you can see Marcus Edegren on that yellow kite, trying to come back here. It's going to be tight on this cross. I don't know who's going to have it between Johnny Heineken in the orange and Marcus Edegren on that yellow kite. bib number 11, coming across the top of your screen. Now just behind them actually is Kai Calder on that green kite, a lime green kite, going for a jibe in here. So he's rounding out what looks to be your top three there, and they're trading jibing angles coming downwind. Now Johnny Heineken just getting the cross there on that orange kite on port, but Marcus Edegren with the yellow kite, number 11 bib there, cruising out towards the right hand side of your screen, which is going to be the left hand side of the downwind as we come down towards these leeward marks. Now he gets across what looks to be just a boat wake there. That one can't be a tide line. It looks way too deep. Jibe here, and he's lining up his final approach into these leeward marks. Johnny Heineken with the orange kite, maintaining his lead here in the 1. Coming across and actually gaining by quite a large margin. He just barely had the cross before when he was on port. Now he's on starboard, and he was able to find some pressure out there. And actually, Marcus Edegren losing a bit by coming out here. He's now on port and has to lead back on the blue kite. Evan Heffernan coming in to this bottom mark. Now they're choosing the left-hand gate, coming back upwind. Marcus Edegren coming out what looks to be in the lead. Evan Heffernan drops his kite, that blue kite, just to windward. Now he's cruising up over the top if he can hold this high mode in that second place. Johnny Heineken on the orange kite, leading out. Handy lead from him here, but really we're watching this battle and focused on this second, third, and fourth place. This battle is just heating up. Now these guys are world-class kiters, so we'll see if they can start to play their tactics coming in here. Johnny Heineken checking back over his shoulder there. Where are they? Are they gaining on me? Am I able to hold this out and hold this lead as I peel up towards the left-hand side of the course? Now he has to be getting towards shore soon. We've seen a lot of these guys come out of the bottom left and ride along port tack up from the left-hand side of the course. There he goes, getting into the shallow water, deciding to go for the tack and cross. Now he might have been actually lifted a bit there because he's barely getting the cross here on these starboard tack boats. Now there is an obstruction there. You can see Marcus Edegren seeing those pilings perhaps, or those weeds in the water, and going for a bit of a rush tack there, whether he called room to tack or not, getting over onto the windward side of Evan Heffernan, and we'll see who can hold this lane here. Now it looks like Evan Heffernan able to hold this high lane to where Marcus isn't going to be able to really go for speed here. He's trying to peel up and trying to hold high on him, but he might be starting to feel that dirty air coming off his kite. Meanwhile, Will Sear playing an absolute mega low mode out on that right-hand side of the course as they come upwind this second time, approaching mark number 3. Second time at the windward mark. Johnny Heineken going for the tack. Evan Heffernan matching and leading back out left. Evan on the blue kite, cruising up the left-hand side, and looks to actually gain. He's definitely past now Marcus Edegren on that yellow kite, so he's up into second place. And Johnny Heineken trying to defend this left-hand side while Will Sear goes for the pressure out on the right-hand side of the course. Now he was able to play a mega low mode through there and just power through with some massive speed. It's really flat water out here today, so what we're seeing is some really, really high-speed racing. Now Evan Heffernan going for attack in here, clears his kite, goes just behind Johnny Heineken, but touches down with his board just a little bit, and now he goes for the power-up. We'll see if he can work his mode in here. Johnny Heineken going for the tack just over the top of him. Now, who's it going to be coming into this windward mark, or will Will Sear and Marcus Edegren on the far-hand side of the course, that gray kite, that yellow kite coming across on starboard, will they be able to take rights and gain off the pressure on the right? Marcus Edegren going for the tack now out on the right-hand side, but it looks, if Will Sear is on ley line, like Marcus may have overshot his reach coming into Mark 1. You can see our commentary boat there, just on the bottom hand side of the screen, as these guys cruise up into the windward mark for this final time. Now Evan Heffernan on the blue kite, coming across. It's going to be tight whether he gets this cross or not. Marcus Edegren on the yellow, coming across on starboard. He's got rights. Evan Heffernan going for the duck. It's getting really tight in here with massive, massive tacking angles. So Marcus Edegren coming across, down, rounding in first place. Bib number 11, Marcus Edegren, yellow kite, cruising into the in around the top mark for the final time, going downwind towards the finish line on this penultimate beat. Evan Heffernan, blue kite, rounding in second and trying to fend off Will Sear, who's trying to get the high mode on him, but he's got a ways to go until his apparent win starts to get ahead of Evan. Now Johnny Heineken going for the jibe out, trying to split a little bit and trying to use that commentary boat as a pick. Perhaps trying to go for more pressure that you can see at the top of your screen there, coming down the course towards this right-hand side of the course. So we'll see what happens when he's able to come back here. But right now, following this tight downwind, we have Evan Heffernan jibing out, just missing his kite on Will Sear as he powers over the top. Now, will he be able to find a lane coming back? And as we lose him for a sec there, we're getting our bearings here and coming back to you on this drag race down towards the finish. So, again, currently in the lead is Marcus Edegren leading out. It looks like he was maybe going to be able to extend here, but it's anyone's guess. He's on the yellow kite. Johnny Heineken coming across on starboard here. Evan Heffernan on the blue has to duck down below Johnny Heineken, actually. So he's into third place, and Johnny moving up in this race. Will Sear now powering down the middle of the course as Marcus Edegren tends to have a comfortable lead on this second, third, and fourth place. This is a shot at the podium here in this race. So Marcus Edegren jibing back onto port. Smart move by him. He's got to protect where there's more boats. There's more boats on the right-hand side of the course. We have Evan Heffernan and Will Sear, two top kiters, fighting right behind him. So he decides to take them, let Johnny Heineken, that sole other boat fighting for this top three, or even winning this race, coming down the left-hand side of this course, right-hand side of your screen, as we come into this final mark and turning mark into the finish line. Again, it's round the pin, drag race to the finish. Marcus Edegren, yellow kite, cruising into this mark. He's going to have an easy layup. As you can see, the mark is down there on the left-hand side of your screen. So Will Sear powering over the top of Evan Heffernan, but can he get around the outside? They've got to make a left-hand turn coming into the finish. Will Sear punching low, brings this kite up. Can he get the jibe in before that tide marker? Evan Heffernan able to come in nice and easy here, and he has the speed. It looks like he might be able to hold him off. Marcus Edegren in the one. He's got a handy lead. All he's got to do, but we've seen it lost before, right at the finish when they've biffed. So Marcus Edegren coming across, though, holding on to that first place finish, and Evan Heffernan coming across in second place. Will Sear rounding out your top three, and what has happened to Johnny Heineken? He was unable to gain on that far side, that left-hand side of the course, away from the other boats. Smart move to him by split, but unfortunately missing the pressure and coming in fourth place. And we'll be back with you shortly after a quick break for lunch, and we'll be back on the water for races 4, 5, and 6 of the Kite Foil League this afternoon.